Order number 671. Your food is ready. Clean up on aisle 5. I repeat, all employees report to aisle 5.
All right, enough jokes. I've always wanted to do that, but today's video is actually all about how to enhance your RV's outdoor kitchen space, specifically with a nice prep table here with a faucet and a sink basin. And actually this mod was featured in a recent video I did about a month ago here on my Imagine XLS travel trailer. This is the 21 BHE, and I featured 36 different upgrades and mods that I've completed on it so far over the first, about 6 months of ownership or so. So if you didn't catch that video, definitely check it out. I'll put a card up above. But one of the mods that was featured in this video is basically all these enhancements to the outdoor kitchen space. I'm talking about basic enhancements such as this trash bag holder. You know, if you're griddling, you're gonna have paper towels and other trash to throw away. This one just clips on to the existing compartment door frame right here. Or how about a pull-out spice tray where you can keep all your seasonings right there, easy to reach. Of course, a paper towel holder. If you're griddling, you're gonna go through paper towels. And then really the main enhancement here is this prep table. And it's got actually running water, a proper faucet, and a sink basin. You can see it's one-handed operation, super easy to use. And then of course this one has a flexible neck, so you can move it around in every direction. And I'm going to show you today how you can add this or something similar onto your RV. The only requirement is that your RV has one of these quick connects or water ports. And if I may, just to give you a quick backstory, I actually came up with this idea on my last RV. It was a Jayco Pinnacle fifth wheel, quite a bit larger RV, but it had a very similar outdoor kitchen layout. It was just flip-flopped. It had the griddle on this side and the refrigerator over here. And it seems like this layout in particular is fairly common among RVs with outdoor kitchens, where you'll have a griddle or a cooktop and then a refrigerator with a little storage above perhaps. And this is really nice. You know, I do about 80% of my cooking outside when I'm camping, so to have all this outside ready to go, super nice. But as I was using it on my last RV, I kept thinking, you know, there's just something missing in this outdoor kitchen space. It's a faucet, it's a sink. And like a lot of RVs, next to the outdoor kitchen, you'll have a quick disconnect right here for a water port. And of course they give you from the factory a little coiled hose with a garden sprayer on the end of it. And that's not really, in my opinion, suitable for use when you're cooking. You know, you almost have to have two hands, one hand to squeeze the trigger and hold it, and then, you know, maybe your hands aren't free like that. And so I kept thinking, I wonder if there's a way that I could turn this existing, you know, water port into a faucet somehow, a faucet that would just mount directly to it, and then I would have a faucet next to my outdoor kitchen space. And so on my last RV, what I came up with is using a faucet just like this one here with some adapters and basically mounting it so that it would plug in to that water port. And then I'd have a faucet like this basically hanging off the wall of my RV. And so that was kind of my first iteration. That worked really good. It did have a tendency to want to spin a little bit because of course this is like a cylinder, and so that was the only downside, but it was pretty handy. So this go round, when I got this RV, I started thinking, well, how could I take it to the next level? And typically I pull out a prep table anytime I'm cooking, and so I thought, well, how neat would it be if I could integrate an actual sink, a proper sink and a faucet onto that prep table, and then still make use of that quick disconnect port right there. And so that's really the inspiration how I came up with this idea. So in today's video, I'm actually going to show you first how to do the standalone faucet. If you just want a faucet like this one to plug directly into your quick disconnect to your water port, you know, hanging off the side of your RV, I'll show you that first. And then I'll circle back and show you how to do the full-blown prep table with the faucet and the sink basin. They actually share a lot of parts in common. Which, speaking of, by the way, I'll put links to all these products and parts I'm about to show you down in the description below in the comments. So I appreciate you using those affiliate links to help support the channel. But let me show you this standalone faucet first. It's really simple. It's basically just 3 parts. First, you're gonna pick your faucet. And I like this design because it allows the gooseneck to rotate, basically 180 degrees, which makes it very useful because we are connecting it in a horizontal orientation to that quick disconnect right there. And so the fact that we can then keep the gooseneck upright makes it very useful and just makes it look more seamless. But you can really do any faucet that has a 1/2 inch threaded connection. That tends to be a very common you know, thread size on faucets as far as what supplies water to them. So just make sure it has a 1/2 inch connection. Again, I'll put links to this specific one down below. if it sells out, this is a very common style. So I mean, you can find others that are very similar to it. You just want to make sure it rotates 180 degrees. So you need that first. And then to connect to your RV's quick disconnect, the water port, you're going to need this one here. If you've got a water port that looks like mine here, that is metal, then this is the one that you're going to need. There are other styles of water ports. There's another one that's plastic, and so if yours is plastic inside here, the fitting, the connector, then you're going to need something different. But I think most RVs use this style right here. And so this is basically what adapts the quick disconnect to it's just a standard 3/4 inch garden thread hose basically. So you could literally take this and take a garden hose and then attach it to your water port right there. And so we're going to use that. And then basically we just have to have a part that marries that 3/4 inch garden hose to the 1/2 inch. And that is going to be this guy right here. You can actually find this usually at your local home center. This is something that sometimes is used with dishwasher installs, believe it or not. Basically, we just take the adapter there that converts the 3/4 to 1/2 inch. And you can see this one actually has a washer in there, so that's how it's going to seal up against the quick disconnect piece right here. So we don't really need to put pipe thread tape on this side here since it's got a washer. But you can see the other end right here does not have a washer. And so I went ahead and just put some pipe thread tape around that side, and you can use pretty much any pipe thread tape. I went around 3 or 4 times right there, and then you can see how easy it is. You're just going to take this, thread it onto there, and snug that up. Of course, you can get a pliers out. I'm just going to do it by hand for now, and that's it. So basically this plugs straight into the RV, and then you've got a faucet with a valve on it. So that's how easy it is to do just the standalone faucet. And there's the finished product, the standalone faucet. So this is what I started with on my last rig. And this works pretty good. You know, it does wiggle from side to side because it freely rotates in there. And it works great if you're looking for just something that mounts on the side of your RV. But I basically took that concept and said, hey, let me take it a step further. And that's where I came up with this prep table idea. All right, so next let me give you the details on the prep table. And like I said before, they do share a lot of components in common. It's the same concept basically, just with the table added in and the hose between everything there. So starting with the table here, you can do any table that you want. I opted to do this bamboo table here from Dometic, and these sometimes go on sale, and they're real nice tables, but there are tons of other brands, popular ones, and I'll put a couple others down in the description below. But I do like the bamboo tables. They are kind of nice. They have a nice aesthetic when you're out camping there. This one has adjustable legs. Each one is adjustable, which I really like, because if you're at a campsite that's very unlevel, which seems to happen to me a lot at state parks, then you can level everything out and have a nice level cooking surface right here. But you can do any size prep table, really any material. You just got to make sure that the way the legs are on the table, that it won't interfere with you drilling a hole in the table, because obviously that's what I've done here to accommodate this faucet. So you just want to pick one where you can drill a hole, put the faucet where you want to without it hindering the legs right there. Okay, so the table's the first part. Then of course the faucet is the next thing. You can go with pretty much any faucet. Again, you're going to want to find one that has that 1/2 inch thread on it, which is really the most common for these smaller faucets. But you can really do any style. I opted for this one just with the gooseneck because you can, turn it around whatever direction you want, and just thought that would be kind of handy when you're camping, and just real versatile. But again, if you don't like this faucet, you can pick your own as long as it has a 1/2 inch. I also wanted just a single, handle operation there where I can real easily grab it. And so that's the style that I went with there. I'll give you another angle here from the back so you can get a better idea. But basically the faucet just clamps to the table essentially, almost like this is your countertop. And you can see underneath it has a threaded collar, and I actually just do this by hand when I get to my campsite, and I set everything up. So I've just got a hole in the table, run the faucet through that hole just like a countertop, and then just use that threaded collar and just snug it up. And then below that is that same 1/2 inch thread that was on the other faucet. Instead of going directly to the adapter that adapts it to that quick connect, that 3/4 inch garden hose thread, instead I'm just using a hose to bridge that gap. And believe it or not, this is actually just a hose that you would put on a shower head, right, in a bathroom. And so this is stainless steel, And again, I'll put links to this in the description below, but I just use that. I thought aesthetically it kind of blends and looks nice. And this is one of those real nice ones where it's real flexible and it's got some weight to it. And so basically it's just going from that 1/2" thread right here, and then it's going all the way up to the same adapter that I used before. So it's 1/2" thread here, and that takes it to 3/4 inch. Now, since I was dropping down, I added this elbow. This is just a 3/4 inch to 3/4 inch elbow, and I did that because I figured, well, it's going to be dropping straight down. I could have just plugged the hose right here into that adapter, but then it would have a curve, and over time maybe could kink. So I just added in that little elbow right there to ease that connection. Then as far as the sink basin itself, you've probably seen these before. It's just one of those collapsible basins that are real popular among RVers, and you can see it gets real nice and flat for storage. And basically I just use this to collect any of the water that comes out of the faucet. I mean, typically I'm not washing dishes, you know, or anything like that. I'm just maybe rinsing my hands off or just getting a little bit of water here and there. And so I'll just collect it in here, and then don't tell anybody I do this, don't tell me, but then I'll just dump it, you know, when it gets to a certain level at the campsite. I know some campsites don't like you dumping gray water, but it's really just fresh water mostly there. All right, now I'll summarize, and I'll go in reverse order this time, the parts that you need. So first up, you need the quick connect fitting. That's this guy right here, and that's going to have a 3/4 inch garden hose thread on the end of it. In my case, I took this elbow then, 3/4 inch to 3/4 inch, again, garden hose thread. And then that's where I adapted it from the 3/4 inch garden hose to the 1/2" thread. And then I used that hose, which is basically a shower head hose. And then I went all the way down here and then up to the bottom of that faucet, which is also 1/2" thread right there. And then of course the faucet comes with its own collar to mount it, to clamp it essentially to the table there. And then you can pick any faucet that you want essentially. And then you got your basin, of course, and your table. Well guys, I think that's just about it. If you have any questions or I left any details out, definitely drop me a question below in the comments. I appreciate you using the affiliate links to help support the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.